All right, well, welcome to this mini mastery class of the biggest lies of the coaching industry. We've done 2 of these classes so far. If you haven't watched them, I'm not going to teach them. Go back and watch them. You can watch them in the archives. They're on the reels of Instagram, I think, and they're on our YouTube channel, Facebook channel, our Facebook page. So you can watch the archives over there. This is going to be really about the essence of success. This last one is the biggest lie really is what success actually is in the coaching industry. So everything is going to be in the context of the coaching industry, but these lies are foundational. So they apply to, a bunch of different areas as well, especially entrepreneurship, anywhere that you want to be an entrepreneur. So that's the context here of what we're talking about. So the biggest lie around success is what success even is, right? We see success so often being defined by something really big, and it's almost always money, right? So I meant to say financial and money, and it was going to say funny, but it is kind of funny. It's actually kind of crappy more than funny, because we get this definition of success that, number one, is not easy to attain, but number two is not even real a lot of times, right? So a lot of the people that are touting their success are not even succeeding at the levels that they're telling you. So the facade itself is not even real. But even if it was, it doesn't mean that it's going to be successful for you if part of your achieving success means you want to also experience success. Because if you're not experiencing success, then it can't give you a sense of fulfillment. It can't give you a sense of joy or happiness. It really can't give you any sort of emotional experience if you're not in the process of success. So you have to be clear on what it means to you to be successful. Because if you're not, then it's just easy to fall for all of these claims. And most of the claims are sensational in nature. They are very hyperbolic. They are exciting. They kick in a lot of dopamine for us. But the problem is they're not real. And it's fake, and it's impossible most of the time. Now, it is possible to hit extremely large levels of success. So I'm not saying that everything is fake, but you have to decide what success is for you. And most people are, in my experience, not just with me personally, but just talking to so many people, most people are not actually aligned internally, personally, with the targets that they're going for. But we have this narrative in the coaching industry specifically that if you're not this big, gigantic company with huge reach and you've got all like millions of people that are following you, or if you're not charging really high ticket prices, then you're not successful. And that is complete garbage. It's utter garbage. Those claims are really exciting. They do create those dopamine hits, but sensational is rarely true. So one of the things that I've been on a kick on for a while now is you have to regulate how you're consuming information. You have to regulate your excitement levels. You have to regulate what you are taking in and then responding to. And the things that trigger this sensationalized excitement are usually not going to be true. They're usually going to be these false claims that at a deep level, your insecurities hope are true, but they rarely are. So in the coaching world, when you see all the claims about high ticket prices and we're going to show you how to just do a few things, turn a few keys, add a few of your individual details, and then you just have this swarm of clients coming at you and they all want to pay you high ticket prices, it's all garbage. The only people that make money with those kinds of schemes are the people selling them. And it's frustrating for me. I actually just unloaded on somebody on LinkedIn today. I felt kind of bad because I don't know the person. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't really know you, but this is everything that's wrong with the coaching industry. This right here, this pitch is every single thing that's wrong with the coaching industry. Because basically they said it not only is this way possible, it's the only way to succeed. The only way to succeed, anyway, it doesn't matter. But the claims are pulling us into a direction that most of the time is misaligned for us, for who we are, but they're also fake on the surface. So I want to challenge you to rethink what success actually is, what it means to you specifically as a person, but what it means as a coach. What if success was first defined as a coach as being able to change somebody's life? What if that was what success actually means? First of all, can you change somebody's life? I mean, isn't that kind of what coaching is? Coaching, it should be, especially if you want to be a transformational coach. Coaching should be about changing people's lives. So that should be the very first thing that you really focus on, and make sure you can check that box, that you have certainty and conviction in your body that you can change somebody's life. And then once you have that kind of certainty and conviction in the product called coaching, then you can take the product as the ingredient and you as the messenger of that ingredient and build a recipe around it. That is not the way it's usually being done. That's not what almost all the marketing pitches are pitching to you. What almost all the marketing pitches are pitching to you is what I think should be the third thing. It should be the very last thing, which is, how do we make success super big and get these really big prices that people pay to you? And one of the reasons those claims are so exciting to us, because we think that if people will pay us big dollar amounts, and that means we are valuable. And so a lot of people in this industry are just trying to heal their wounds with other people's wallets. And that's why the high ticket prices are exciting at a deep emotional level. It's actually our insecurities that want to know that somebody will pay us a large amount of money. Therefore, we will be valid. Therefore, we will be good enough. That's what's behind a lot of the emotional addiction and attraction to these claims of quick success. So I say, number one, success should be defined as your ability to change somebody's life in the coaching industry. And if you can't do that, don't even take another step, because it doesn't matter. If that product in the coaching world cannot change a human life, then everything else is overcompensation. The second thing should be, if you get to the point where you know that you can change a human being's life, well, then can you get good at making a little bit of money doing that? And then make just maybe a little bit more money, and then maybe just a little bit more money, and get really good at making money changing people's lives. And then third, and this is a distant third, if you like what you're doing and if it's the right time, then can you scale what you're doing to bigger capacity beyond yourself? And I'm going to break a little bit of this down a little bit more here in a minute. But I'm going to go back to this desire to change somebody's life, because if you don't have an intrinsic desire, meaning it comes from within, if you don't have an intrinsic desire to get really good at changing people's lives, I'm just telling you, this is going to be really, really difficult for you. And I hope it doesn't work, truly, because I don't think the life coaching industry should be full of people who aren't driven by the desire to change people's lives. There's nothing wrong with the desire to make money, but if you're not driven by the desire to change people's lives in an industry where the core call should be to change people's lives, then it's not going to work for you. And I hope it doesn't work for you. And that's unfortunately what has been driving this industry for years and years and years. People that are more driven by getting money from folks than to actually change their lives. And that's why this industry has a real negative connotation for a lot of people out there. One of the reasons, at least, and because it truly does operate kind of like a pyramid scheme. How can I get money from other people? Let's just get really good at sales or marketing, or use this funnel and use this platform. How about changing people's lives? How about that's the core of what it is that you're trying to do? But I'm just speaking to you as a guide, as a friend, as a mentor, that if you don't have this intrinsic desire, it's going to be really tough, because all of your sales and marketing efforts are going to need to overcompensate for your insecurity. And that's really difficult to do. I mean, if you don't have the security internally, the certainty that you can change people's lives, then your sales and marketing has to overcompensate for that. And guess what? They'll know it. Your prospects will know it, and you'll know it. And it'll ruin everything. It'll put a whole lot of pressure on you. You're not going to have any fun. And internally, I don't have time to break this down on this particular mastery class, but internally, your protective mechanism will actually do everything it can to sabotage you from getting clients if you don't believe that you can change somebody's life. We'll have to unpack that another time. So in the coaching industry, there's been so much competition, especially over the last 4 years of COVID. There's been so much competition of people trying to get really good at making a lot of money in this industry, and so many people went online. So what that means is the quantity of coaches and the quantity of marketing philosophies and programs has gone way up. And in almost any market, when quantity goes way up, quality goes down. It's almost impossible for quantity to go up and quality to go up, or quality to even stay the same. So the quality has generally gone down. That's what almost always happens with more and more competition. But that's actually great news for you, because that means you can just stand out from the majority of the crowd by being a good coach. And all you need is the commitment. And I mean, you need the right program, obviously, but if you are committed to getting good at being a world-class coach, you can do that. But if you don't have the certainty and you think that you need to get really good at sales and marketing, you need to get really good at competing with all the Facebook sharks that are putting $10,000 a day in Facebook ads, it's not going to work out for you. I'd rather you just not even do this, because you literally have no chance to compete against the people that are driven by something so different, and they have backgrounds and they have money and they have all these other things. I want you to get really good at changing people's lives and then learn how to make a little bit of money doing that. So I'm going to assume now that you have gotten really good at changing somebody's life for the purpose of the rest of this talk. And once you get really good at changing people's lives, and the next step, as I said, is make a little bit of money doing that. So in the coaching industry, there are essentially 3 different models for how you can create your organization. And I'm going to teach these at another video. So I'm not going to teach these at depth, but essentially I call the first one just the contractor model. It's kind of like, technically you're in business, but you're just a contractor. You're trading your services for money. And that's where nearly everybody should stay, in my experience, because that's what most people will be aligned with, is just make a little bit of money changing people's lives. And what if you just made a few $100s extra a month, or a couple $1,000 extra a month? Most people should stay there, but everybody should start there. Everybody should start there. Most people should stay there. The second model is a company, and that's when you start expanding your reach, but you also expand all the internal gears. You expand all the internal variables. There's a lot more pressure. A company requires 7 different departments to operate for you to succeed. I'm not even going to tell you what those are. Watch the video when I break those models down, and I'll tell you then. But most people are not ready or even interested in having 7 different departments to succeed. So most people should never even go there. And then the third one is the empire, which is where the celebrities are, right? Those are the people that have the books and the shows and the podcasts, and they got, $100,000 a month of expenses. Like, they have a big, giant organization. The problem is that most people are actually really excited about empire results, but they haven't even created contractor success. So you're putting all the pressure of empire results onto systems that haven't even been built successfully enough to be a good contractor. And that pressure is going to crush nearly everybody, because you're trying to make back all the money that you've invested, or the time you've wasted, or you're just trying to get there as fast as you possibly can. And that pressure is going to be the death of most people's dreams in the coaching industry. The pressurized human does not perform well when you're trying to build something, when you're trying to create something, when your visibility is on the line. Pressure shuts nearly everybody down. especially financial pressure in that situation. So that's not where most people need to be. And this is what I really want you to understand. Almost all marketing claims out there and almost all marketing programs are scaling efforts. I want you to understand the essence, because then it'll be easier for you to recognize whether this is the right fit for you or not. And for most people, it's not that you're making the wrong choices. You're making the right choices at the wrong time. So these programs are fine, but not yet. They're fine when you get there, but not yet. You're not there. But if you try to implement them now, you'll never get there because you're out in front of yourself, right? So most marketing programs that are promising the big audiences, the more leverage, scaling beyond yourself with group programs and expanding your reach and all that stuff, those are scaling mechanisms. Those are taking something and then scaling it bigger, but most of you don't have the something to scale. Scaling is only relevant when you are successful first. And most people are not successful first in order to scale. You know, I always tell people, I used to be a math teacher, and one of the most important mathematical principles in this context is anything times zero is still zero. So if you don't have anything to scale, you can put all these mechanisms at play and it'll still be zero. Not only will it be, it'll be worse than zero, it'll be negative because it'll just create so much pressure. So to me, I think so many people in the coaching industry are just, you know, toddlers trying to drive Ferraris. Like if you have a kid in toddlers, don't put them in a Ferrari. At some point, they'll be able to drive the Ferrari, but they're more likely to kill themselves before they get there. And that's what's happening in the coaching world. Most coaches actually die, in their dreams die, and they quit before they get to the place where all the things that they invested in are now relevant to them. So here are my 3 goals for you as we close this out in the next couple minutes. Here are my 3 goals for you. I think goal number 1 should be you get really, 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 really good at changing people's lives. And when you have that kind of certainty, the way that you see the world, the way you see opportunities, and then the recipe that you start building will be different than if you have insecurity about your ability to change somebody's life. So you have to get really, really good at being a world-class coach, which requires depth. It requires roots. It requires stability. It requires immersion. It requires embodiment. It doesn't require just information. It requires you to be in the water so that you learn how to swim. And that kind of conviction will then play itself out when you start creating some financial success. And that would be goal number 2. Just learn how to make a little bit of money, changing people's lives. And then goal number 3, if you ever get there, goal number 3, if you decide that you can no longer keep doing this at this level, you have to make some decisions because you've hit the ceiling of your capacity, then consider scaling. But make it to where you have to scale because you've hit the ceiling of your contractor success. And from that place, I'm just telling you, everything will be built more foundationally, and actually you can go a lot faster if you start with foundation than you can if you start with fad. Not only can you not go fast with fads, if your business is built on fads and all the sensationalism, you're going to crash. It's just a matter of time. And I don't want that for you, because I think the world needs a lot more people that have gotten really good at changing people's lives and get that message out into the world. We need new voices. We need new perspectives. We actually need people with compassion and connection to get out there, because marketers have taken over the coaching industry because there's so much money to be made, and you are losing. And our potential clients are out there losing because people are trying to learn how to drive these Ferraris and they haven't learned to walk yet in business. So I hope this is landing, not with like shame or you being defeated in any way. I actually want you to take hope out of this, because it is possible for you to do this and make money and be successful. You just have to do it the right way. So I only have about 30 seconds. I'm committed to getting these done in 20 minutes. Come to launch. We have a live program called Launch. You can go to coachseansmith.com/launch to check it all out. It's going to give you a lot of the conviction that you need in your coaching skills, and it'll teach you some of the laws of marketing to get in motion some of these things that I've been talking about, but do it foundationally in the right order, because I want you to win. And most people, as soon as you pay them your money, they've won, but you're going to lose. I don't want that for you. I'll see you in another mini mastery class. I hope this has been helpful, and let me know what you got, or let me know what other questions you have. Oh boy. Well, 1958. Oh,